Right, I'm just going to come in here and make a camera. So control and click on the camera there. And the reason I'm doing that, you can copy the values there. And the reason I'm doing that now is because I'm going to be painting an attribute on here, right? So let's dive back into the debris, and I'm going to object merge the surface from the terrain. So surface without the volume, okay. And then we're going to attribute paint onto this. If we can find it, there it is. Okay, plug that in there. And so, yeah, we're going to be painting this mask attribute, and hopefully we can see it. Don't see it there. Let me change the lighting. Maybe we need to visualize it. Yeah, do that. There we go. Okay, so left mouse button to click. I think it's control middle mouse to delete. So I'm basically just going to paint an area here. So I think the house is going to be kind of in the corner there. So I'm going to clear that out and then just kind of paint, you know, it's going to be random blobs really, bigger than smaller pieces, deleting as you go. And then I think what I might do is come in here and change this value to 2 and give myself some really dense areas of points. Okay, because basically this will be controlling a scatter. And then maybe let's just delete, make this a bit noisy, something like that. Okay, and then I'm going to move the whole thing up 1 meter, and then scatter points. So if we turn off force total count, we're going to be using density attribute, which is that mask that we just made. So you see that we're following the point will go where the paint is, basically, where we painted. Bring that density scale down to about 1. And I don't want it so even. I'm going to turn off these relaxed iterations so it's a bit more random. And then let's just delete anything we don't need here. Oh, the color, do we have? No. Okay. Oh, we can delete that mask. Yeah, we don't need that anymore. Okay, and then basically what we'll do is be copying these points onto here, right? So we need to randomize a few things. So attribute randomize. We want to randomize, first of all, the orient, just like we did earlier for the pieces, right? So again, direction or orientation, and we need 4 dimensions for this. And what's important for this, because we're going to be doing this on each frame, is we need to change this global seed to $FF, so it's each time step will have a different rotation of these. We want to do the same in the scatter as well, actually, before I forget. Right, in the global seed here, we want $FF. Okay, so if you play, you see that change there, and it will change every frame. Okay, so let's type in here orient, because we're going to have a few of these attribute randomizers. Say move up. And then to get kind of, obviously we got loads of points kind of overlapping here, loads of objects. We want just one of them. So we use something called the variant. So let's work on that variant attribute. So we need to create it first, attribute create. And this will be called variant. Variant. Make sure it's spelled right. And it will be an integer. We're just setting this up for now. Okay, we'll create the value next. Attribute. Well, no, we're creating the value, but we'll modify it now. Attribute randomize. And so we're going to be grabbing that variant attribute. And we're going to be using uniform discrete, so that will give the values give me values between 0 and 9 with a step size of 1. So they'll be either 0 or 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, 6 or 9. So let's have a look at that variance. See, we've got points which are all integers there. And to make this a bit more procedural, what we can do is, I'm just going to change this pack to a RBD configure, and hopefully that won't change the blast down there, right? Because I just want to quickly set the collision shapes to be boxes on this. Just doing that quickly before I forget. And hopefully, let me just double check that this blast still works. Yeah, perfect. Okay, let's drop a null down here, and that's going to be out debris. Okay, and I'm going to use that for this attribute randomize because we need to know how many pieces do we have here. So I'm going to just type a simple expression in here, which is endpoints, which is how many points are there in that null that we just made, right? So speech mark .. to look for, there we go, we have it there, out debris. So how many points are in this node? And that will give me 22, which is correct, 22, okay. Okay, so that's that. Let's just drop a copy to points. We'll do the scale in a minute. So geometry into the left, points into the right. Oh, let's turn off that jitter and use that variant attribute. Okay, if we visualize that now. Okay, and scale these all down. Well, let's do another attribute randomize here. Not for the color, we want to do p-scale. You can start to see that it is working there. You know, they're all rotated. You know, we got super small and super big pieces. Obviously, we don't want that. Let me just think. Yeah, we wanted to do $FF here as well. Variant for that, and here p-scale. Okay, and then for the p-scale, I want to create a ramp. All right, let's make this ramp a bit bigger, and I want to have lots of small pieces and 1 or 2 kind of big pieces, right? So the first value will be 0.05. The next one will be at position 9, 8, so super far, almost at the end, and the value will be 0.1. Okay, so something like that, and then these pieces I don't want to be that big. Do them just 0.5. Okay, so we've got lots of small pieces and then just 1 or 2 big pieces. The scale obviously depends on the scale of your scene and everything. Okay, so every frame we've got different pieces with different rotations, different scales, scattered around roughly the same area, right? So hopefully you can see, oops, where I'm going with this, and as you can see, it's super fast as well. But the names will be repeated, right? So if we come to the points here, you can see we've got names, different variants, but with similar names, I think. Well, the names will be repeated anyway, right? Especially over different frames. So we need to rename them. So on the points, we're going to be changing the name. So we're going to be taking the name, and then we're going to add on. We're going to convert the frame number to a string. Okay, so that gives us our current name plus the current frame, so 54. So that means each frame all the names will be completely different. Plus, I want this ith away again, which converts a string to an integer. The point number. Oh, sorry, the integer. This converts the integer to a string the other way around. Right, we'll get some kind of error there. Why is that? Need the at there. So that should be it. We've still got some error. Float to integer, I guess. The frame is a float, yeah. So, but again, it will still work. You know, we'll have a spray painting there. Don't see any points. What have I done? There we go. So we got names there, and you can see we got yeah. So you see all of them have 54, and then the number after. You can see the last 3 digits. We got the current name. So this was debris 7 before, and then we got 54 for the current frame, and then it's the 4th point or primitive, right? So that is pretty much, I think, ready to go into a simulation or whatever you like. You know, we could have obviously done this just by scattering a load of points on the floor. Basically, what I want to do here, I should maybe explain first, is have a load of random pieces of geometry on the surface before the simulation starts, and then later we'll do the debris which comes from the broken pieces. What, you know, once they come apart, they'll emit some pieces. But these, I just want to have a load on the surface, so we'll take care of that, and then we'll do the other debris, and then we'll do the house after that.